Good morning, or I guess afternoon. It's 12 p.m. Happy Vlogmas Day 16. Is this like, Lord, I feel like I can never tell. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, happy Vlogmas Day 16. Like I said, it's currently 12 p.m. and I've had a slow start to the day. Yesterday I woke up at like 6:20 if you watched the vlog yesterday, and I was feeling it, I was feeling great. This morning I woke up at like 7:28, so like 2 minutes before my alarm, and I was like, you know what, I could go back to bed. And so I turned my alarm off. I snoozed it first and I was like, you know, there's no point. Then I just turned it off and then I woke up and it was 8:30. So clearly my body needed to catch up on the sleep. Woke up, I edited the vlog. It was a great vlog, really enjoyed it, and then I literally just had a shower. My Park Street just gonna let me warm up for a second. Oh, my best friend is coming over. Pause for a second because I have to go downstairs. I have to get her. She is here with her rat dog. We're gonna do some co-working and stuff like that, but I haven't set up my buzzer still, which I actually should probably ask my concierge about when I go down there, but I have to go pick her up. We will reconvene this when she is back in my apartment. You come here, rat! Everybody say hi to the rat. Hi! Say hi to the vlog! Oh my god, it's 2 rats! Nikki and Minnie are here. They have arrived. We are going to do some co-work tings. Look at her, she's so Why do you look like that?
I'm just happy to be here.
She's like, I'm happy to be inside. You like
Does this look like a portrait?
It's a family photo! Right? Because we know you didn't get your skin color from your mom. Anyway, it's 12:20. Nikki just got here. We're going to gather some tings and then probably go down to amenities and do some work. I like your pants. They're cute. Are they like ripped? Like, are they corduroy? Oh, they're plaid. Oh, they look like corduroy.
Oh, no. They're very comfy.
They look cute. I like them a lot. Y'all, where has the damn time gone? Because tell me why. It's 4:30 p.m. Essentially, Nikki came over. We ate some food. We shot a campaign. We hung out. I went to therapy at 3, had therapy, I came home, and now I'm home and it's suddenly 4:30. I thought I would sit down and we would do a fun Q&A. So over on Instagram I asked you guys to ask me anything and I would answer it in the Q&A, and so I have screenshotted these questions and I thought we would just dive right in. Question 1, we have talk about moving to LA. I don't know if you mean like right now or in the past or what, but I will give you guys kind of like a brief rundown of my situation with LA. So back in 2019, I started the process of immigration and I got an immigration lawyer. I was looking into an O1B visa specifically, which is for people who are like entertainers or people who are basically like top bitches in their fields type of thing. That is who an O1B visa is for. And so I started my O1B visa journey in 2019 and it's actually what made me go viral on TikTok. But as I continued the process, obviously the pandemic started in 2020. March is when Canada went into lockdown. And I was like, oh my god, they stopped accepting immigration applications altogether because we were so unsure about COVID at the time. I kind of like lost hope in moving to LA. In that moment, it was so devastating for me, but it was such a redirection because I realized I probably wouldn't be in the position that I am or making the money that I am or have had the opportunities that I've had if I would have gone to LA. And that's not to say that I wouldn't have had extraordinary opportunities. It just like the pandemic for me was almost like a blessing in that sense because I think I was rushing a little bit too into it, and it's led me to the decisions where I'm at now. All of 2020 I kind of went back and forth on it. I didn't travel at all in 2020 outside of Canada, anything. 2021 hit and I took my first flight in February. I went to Vancouver, and then as you guys know, I went to LA in October. I had an incredible time. I met so many incredible people. I love LA. I'm going back in January. All of 2020 I kind of pondered with the thought of, will I reopen my visa application? Will I resubmit? Do I want to do these things? Do I want to live in LA like that? And I've kind of come to the decision that I don't think I want to, because as a Canadian citizen, I can spend 180 days in a rolling calendar year in the US without having to pay tax or do anything like that. Okay, sorry, my camera died. I think I was talking about calendar years. I can spend as a Canadian 180 calendar days in the US in a rolling calendar year. That actually affords me a lot of time to stay an extended period of time in the US. I can go back for 14 days like I plan on doing in July or in January, or I can go back for like 3 months if I wanted to, as long as I'm within the number of days in my rolling calendar year. So that's kind of where I've come to my conclusion with LA. I still very much plan on doing law school, which is actually I think one of these questions, which I will get more into, but I do plan on going to law school in LA. I'm not opposed to living in LA. I just don't think that it's currently the move for me. I think that being bi-coastal is a great move for me, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm no longer pursuing my visa, but I do love LA and I like to spend time there. I guess I will answer this question next because it's very relevant to what I just said, but the question is, do you see influencing as a long career? My answer is yes and no. Here is kind of like my life plan. I genuinely plan on being an influencer for at least the next 10 years, and that is a long time, and I do truly feel like I can sustain that. I feel as though I am going to get to a level where I will be like influencer socialite type of situation, where I will have a large audience, I will have a large following, I will have this status, I will have this XYZ. Maybe I'll be in LA more, maybe I'll be, you know, in other places more. I really would like to check out Atlanta. I don't know. Now that being said, if you are unfamiliar, I do have a Bachelor of Commerce, so a business degree with a major in marketing and a minor in intellectual property law. Really enjoy law. And so I told myself at 30, I'm currently 25, at 30 is when I think I will apply to law school. Obviously, I guess I'll have to like start studying and doing all those things like when I'm 28, 29, take my entrance exam, do all those things, and then start going to law school like at 30. That's kind of where I'm at. I genuinely really enjoy law, especially intellectual property law, and so I identify UCLA as a law school that I would love to go to, specifically in their media, entertainment, and technology programs. And I love this because, one, I enjoy law. I enjoy law as a subject, and it's actually something that I deal with a lot every single day. And two, I kind of see this as an additional layer that if I stop being an influencer, I can start being a lawyer. So I have a degree, I have experience, and I have a lot of like learned experience as well from being an influencer. So if one day I woke up and I decided I didn't want to be an influencer anymore, I think I would have a ton of avenues to potentially go back into corporate social media or do consulting. I do see being an influencer or being a socialite or being like a predominant person of influence as a long-term type of career. Ideally, actually, I feel kind of like I'm on like my Kim Kardashian trajectory. I'm an influencer right now and all of that, and then I go to law school. Here's the thing. My manager is also one of my best friends who owns the agency I am represented by. I love influencer law, which is like mostly intellectual property and entertainment, and so I would love to work as in-house counsel if I decide to stop being an influencer, work as in-house counsel at the agency, which I mean is not a possibility right now because obviously I'm not a lawyer, but also like the agency doesn't call for it. As expansion comes and things grow and everybody does better, I do see the need for it, and we've kind of talked about it and stuff like that. I would ideally love to do that because I get to still be in the influencer world, but I do get to practice something else that I love, which is law. So that's kind of like question and answer to that one. I do see being an influencer as a long-term career for me specifically, but I do have other ambitions that I would like to create and do. I do plan on launching another business, like a side business, so we'll see where that takes me, but I do feel as though I will be able to continue this for a while. Okay, these are two sex-related questions, and I'm so happy that y'all asked me, okay? So first of all, favorite sex toy to use with a partner. I was too young, and I wasn't like young, like I'm 25 now. I was definitely like 21 or something when this happened. I was too young and naive to understand how great this was in the moment. I had this man that I was like hooking up with who was like, oh my god, I would love to use like a dildo when we have sex and all of this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we did it, but I just felt some type of way about it, and I think about it often now because I'm like, oh my god, that would have been this like so good now. Like, I'm just like, wow, I wish that would have happened to me now with my like new understanding of sex and like my ability to talk about what I like and what I don't like and all of that. That is an experience I love and I wish would have happened to me like later in life, but that's like a great one. And I think it's more so of like a foreplay type of situation. Like a sex toy that I think that I really enjoy to use with partners, like while you're having sex, is clit stim. There's also one by the company called Dame which is called their Ava 2, and it's like shaped like a little like egg, like a teardrop, and then it has like little arms that kind of look like a wishbone, and what you do is you like tuck it underneath your labia, and it sits on top of your clitoris and it vibrates, and so it stays in place while you have sex. I have it. I've just never used it with a partner, but I know other people who have used it who absolutely love it. So that is the Dame Ava 2. However, I have used just like a regular clit stim, so like your Satisfyer Pro 2s or anything like that, that's like a suction clitoral stimulator while having sex, and it's also really good. I find for me, however, though, that like the use of, I should back this up, I am an internally stimulated person. If you've listened to the podcast, you've heard me talk about this at length, but I'm the kind of person where I can have sex, like penetrative sex, and come. I don't need to have like clitoral stimulation to be able to get there. I can do it through internal stimulation. So I enjoy, and that's why too, I reflect back on it and I'm like, oh my god, this dildo situation would have been so good. So I enjoy that type of like, that vein of sex toys with my partner more so than the clitoral stimulations with my partner, because I find that sometimes when it comes to the clitoral suction situations, I have to be mentally there with it for it to do anything. Otherwise, it just like sits there. I have to be mentally like connected, and I think that when you're having sex and also using it, I can't connect to it because I'm internally stimulated. So I'm like, oh my god, this feels good, but I'm trying to focus on the clit stim and it just like doesn't mesh as much for me. If you're like me, I would say the foreplay dildo action is fantastic, and then if you're not like me, suction clit stim and the Dame Ava 2 are great options for you. Also too, if you want to hear any of these other things in depth, I don't know how much YouTube is gonna be like, sis, we could share this. Listen to the podcast. I will link it down below. If you're unfamiliar, I run a sex podcast called Hey Bitches, where we talk about all of this stuff. Question number 2 is favorite sex position. Now hear me out, it's missionary. And here's the thing, I feel like a lot of people like to beef missionary. I really feel like a lot of people like to beef missionary, but we're all out here loving missionary. I feel as though, like, before my answer would have been like doggy, everybody likes doggy too. I like missionary because I am secretly like a lover girl, truly. I also feel like I've kind of like branched out of my super kinky phase. Like when I first started the podcast, I was very much like, let's be wild, let's do all these things, and I still enjoy it, but like I really do enjoy more like passionate, face-to-face type of sex now. Like I want to make out and I want to like do all those things. So I would say missionary for that reason. Like I want to be able to, I don't want to like look you in the eye the whole time that we have sex, but like I want like a moment or two, you know what I mean? I was actually hooking up with this guy and we had like one of those moments where you have sex in the middle of the night, like it's just like, it's a vibe. It was like the best sex of my life, and it was like all missionary. And it was just because it was dark and it was a vibe and we were making out and it was like the face to face, like, ugh. It was great. Because of that, my answer is missionary. Also, I feel like people's other wild answers, like wheelbarrow or like the one where they pick the girl up, like it's so extra for what? Nobody ever finishes in them. So why are we, I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe it's just not a me thing, but that's my answer. It's missionary. Next question is, what's the 2022 dating plan? This is a fair question because if you have never listened to the podcast, you're unfamiliar with the fact that I went on a 6-month dating detox at the start of this year. So between December and June, I stopped dating, more or less. I went to a lot of therapy. I worked on all of my trauma, really like started to rewire the person that I was when it comes to dating and relationships, because I did have a lot of like relationship trauma that if you want to listen to it, you can hear about it on the podcast, but I stopped dating. Then the summer hit and I was like released from the dating shackles, or like the dating detox shackles, and I went crazy. And so I did a podcast episode all about something that I called The Game, which essentially was the whole summer I was documenting my wild summer on Close Friends. Everybody had a player name, like it was like player 1, player 2, player 3, all of it. And I made people fill out Google forms, I made them pitch themselves, all of this. And it was so wild and it was so fun, but obviously that's not where I'm at now. And so I'm kind of in a position right now where I still am seeing somebody from the summer. I'm not seriously dating nor exploring dating currently. Now that could change in 2022. I am the type of person that I would enjoy a partnership. I have been single since 2019, but before that I was in relationships back to back for the better part of 7 years. I also too was engaged, was in like these very committed relationships. So all I've known is like super heavy long-term commitment. That's not to say that's a bad thing, because it really isn't. And I would love to go back to that space, but I think I needed this time to be this person. And so I'm kind of coming to the conclusion now that I don't have to seek it out as much as I thought I did or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and see what happens. I am just kind of chilling. I'm just kind of vibing, hanging out, navigating what comes my way. That's kind of it. I don't have a full-on plan for 2022. I guess the answer is I will see what that happens, I'm open to it. This next question I actually really like, which is how do you deal with burnout without feeling lazy, taking care of yourself? We know that burnout has been kicking my ass. I've talked about it very in depth on one of these vlog episodes, if you will, about depression, burnout, everything in between. Like I told you guys, the 5-minute rule that my therapist taught me is something that truly has been life-changing for me. I talked to my therapist about it today, and it is something that has allowed me to get over the hardest part of things that happen after you're burnt out, which is starting. When you're burnt out and when you're like overwhelmed and you're all of these things, when you're depressed, you're just like, I don't even want to do anything. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do a single thing. So how can you take care of yourself? And so the principle of the 5-minute rule essentially is do the thing for 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes you cannot do it anymore, it's the worst experience of your life, you don't want to do it, you can give yourself permission to stop. However, if after 5 minutes you're like, it's not really that bad, continue the task. And this is kind of the thinking and the mindset that allowed me to come out of my depressive episode and clean up my apartment, to get started with things, to tackle these hurdles that I had previously just not been doing because I was so depressed and overwhelmed and burnt out and just not having a good time. And that can apply to so many things. That can apply to things like fun self-care, like, you know, doing your skincare, having a shower, taking a bath. That can also apply to things like practical self-care, like cleaning your surroundings or taking care of your finances or doing those types of things. That's my biggest thing for you guys. It literally has been so helpful for me just learning this principle, and I only learned it last week. So I hope that that is helpful for you when you're navigating things like burnout, stress, depression, and everything in between. This is also a question that I've got a couple times is, when did you realize you wanted to create content about body positivity? I have said this on social media before, but I will say it again. And essentially, when I went viral on TikTok, it was for, I guess when I went viral one of the times on TikTok, I literally was just dancing. But at this time, TikTok was mostly actual 12-year-olds, teenagers who had never developed, or who had not gotten to the stage of developing in their body, who were like kids, you know what I mean? Who had not gone through puberty, who had not done anything like that. So that was the mass majority of the people on the app. So anybody who had a non-stick pre-pubescent body was like very noticeable. And so I was on the app just living my life, and I did a dance video, and the people were like, oh my god, I've never seen someone who has my body type before, who looks like me. I didn't come on TikTok originally to do body positive content. I really didn't. I just showed up on TikTok as myself. Myself is that kind of person who is very confident in my body, who is all of those things, but I didn't come on here originally to be this person. And it's funny because I almost feel like the internet kind of dubbed me this person on TikTok. It's also not to say that I was like, had no intentions ever of talking about this, or I never wanted to be this person, but it's just something that like didn't even cross my mind, because being confident and being positive about my body was like just a way of my life, and it wasn't something that I was like really actively working on or doing anything like that. So I didn't come on here with like the agenda of being a body positive TikToker. However, I realized that by showing up as myself in the skin that I'm in the body that I'm in, helped a bunch of other people. And so when that content started to kind of go more viral and I got all of these like incredible comments and responses, I was like, okay, I can see this. And so that's really when I started to go more into the body positive and like the body confidence and self-confidence and self-love side of my brand, which is like very much so my brand now, because I realized that a lot of things that I did and do growing up and now are things that a lot of people like didn't think of or were never taught. And so I like sharing how I became this person, how I went through things like being in the dance and cheer community, which is very like, I don't know if you've ever read or been a part of or watched any type of movie or show about the actual dance industry. For example, Black Swan or Tiny Pretty Things, that kind of stuff. They talk and they highlight about eating disorders in the dance community and how prominent that is, and how prominent it is in the cheerleading community, and how toxic it is to the industry. And it can be so positive too, like not eating disorders, but like the industries can be so positive and they can have such great impacts on people's lives. But the dark side is that they are rampant with mental health disorders and eating disorders and everything in between. I really had to start off young in teaching myself that it's okay that I'm not like super stick thin like these people, or I'm not lifestyle XYZ. And I realized that a lot of people didn't really have that growing up because they weren't necessarily, I guess, in my position in the industries that I was in. So that's kind of how I got to this body positive content on the internet, and I realized that a lot of you guys need it, and I very much enjoy being that kind of like internet bestie, hype girl type of thing to you guys, because I've gone through this experience of like becoming so secure in myself, being self-confident, being out there and having a great time, and I love being able to share that stuff with you guys so you can live your best lives. That's it for the Q&A. I thought all of these questions were very good. I really enjoy these. I used to do like Sunday Q&As every single week where I would ask and we would answer on stories, but I thought it would be fun to kind of like sit down and chit chat because I think I divulged more information than I really could in any type of story. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment down below any of these surprised you, or if you want me to go in depth about anything else, because I would love to chit chat about it. That being said, it's currently 5:20. I ended up watching up to episode, I think 9 of Selling Tampa, or no, 7 of Selling Tampa, because there's only 8 episodes, so I only have 1 episode left. So I think what I'm going to do is sit on my couch and watch the last episode. I am going to finish Selling Tampa. I also need to dump my SD card because it is about to be full. I don't know, that's kind of my plan. Kind of my plan for the evening. Hello, bestie friends. The time is currently 8:34 and I just got finished doing my Dream Tent Life. And if you don't know what Dream Tent Life is, I will link the video in the, oh my god, I'm sorry, my camera is shaking. I will link the video in the comments down below, but I feel so good. I had a bath, and every time I have a bath, I do these like pick a card readings for, why is this on the side anyway? I always do pick a card readings during times that I have a bath. I don't know, I literally been doing it since I lived at my mom's house, and it's just the vibe. I always watch the same person, which is Gem Goddess, who I will also actually link down below if you want to check her out. She's actually from my city, which I think is cool because I didn't know that originally. I watched one about like what your higher self wants you to know, and it was very aligned with like things that I've been thinking about lately and things I've been like reflecting on and manifesting. And yesterday I talked about how I do like an astro dice roll, a tarot card pull, and a success oracle, and I literally started doing that yesterday. But even the one I pulled today, like right in the morning, was very accurate for me, and I feel like I'm on such a good trajectory of the things that I am looking for in my life, and I'm very, very happy about that. I took this as like the sign that maybe I needed to do my Dream 10 life. I normally try to hold off until the end of the year, but it just felt like the time. It felt like the divine timing to do it, and so I did it, and I feel really good. I have a really good and a really clear picture, the person that I want to be, the life that I want to have, the job I want to have, the money I want to make, the person I want to be with, like the experiences that I want to have, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm excited to build on it further. I talked about also too how I feel like I'm experiencing my January 1st very early, like I'm experiencing my like yearly rebirth or whatever that people have at the beginning of the year where they get so motivated to change and do things and XYZ, and I feel like I'm having that right now, and so I'm leaning into that versus being like, oh my god, it's not January 1st. It's working really well for me. It's been a good day. Therapy was really good. Everything was really good. I feel very like spiritually aligned and like very in the flow and in the motion right now, and that makes me very happy. With that being said, that takes us to the end of this video. I really hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, hang out with your girl for the rest of Vlogmas, but I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 17. Bye!